Hi, how's everybody doing? It's Paul from Magpie 24/7 out and about. It is a Saturday, but it's not a match day. That's tomorrow as Newcastle United go down to Eddie Howe's former side and play and take on Bournemouth. Hopefully no repeat of the Fan Trippier issue from last time out, and hopefully I think we owed a positive result down there at the Vitality. Not an easy job. They were a decent side with some good players, a tight, small ground, compact. So it's not going to be straightforward. Of course, it's not. But let's hope that we can get done what we need to get done and return with the 3 points. I don't think it's since the late 90s that we've actually got a home and away back-to-back victories at the start of a season, so it goes to show you it's not at all an easy thing to do. And I think the important thing, the main thing, the first thing has to be keeping it tight and getting it, make sure at least you don't lose the game tomorrow. I think that's vitally important. And I also think with regards to fan morale and just the general feel about the club, a victory, a point, something to be able to show from tomorrow's game would be gratefully appreciated and gratefully received, because I think there is a general lack of wind in people's sails at the beginning of this season. Imagine how it would have felt if we hadn't have got the result against Southampton. I know it wasn't the prettiest of performances. It was a backs against the wall type job, but you know, imagine if we'd have lost that game. The Fabian Schär situation, where he is suspended for 3 games, which is absolutely fucking foul of a decision. It's literally fucking stupidity at the highest order. But that's typical Premier League and typical of the referees bunch, to be honest. But I'll get to that later on if I've still got time in the video. But yeah, things could have been a lot worse. We've got to go down there, try and get something, reward the travelling fans who, again, are having huge issues getting up and back down from the furthest game away in the season. There's no return trains, so it's going to be buses, it's going to be long car journeys, and so on, to be able to, you know, support the lads. I think there's about 2,000 or so who are lucky enough to have got tickets for the game, but it's not without its complications. Hopefully the lads can serve us up. It would be great if we could get a win down there, a victory down there, a couple of goals down there. You know, I think we tonked them 4-1, didn't we, a little while back? The Lazaro show, if I remember rightly. Something like that would be decent, but I just honestly think it's going to be a very, very difficult, tough assignment, this one. But it could go either way. It really could, if you were just literally looking as a, you know, an unbiased, you know, person looking at this. It could go either way. It could be one of those. But if we are to get back into Europe, if we are to push for the Champions League, you've got to go away from home and do a damn sight better than what we did last season. But when you're not given the tools to do your job, don't be surprised, Newcastle United, you Darren Hills of the world, if we don't get what you're demanding. You know, we do not live in a world of fucking Jack and Ori and CBeebies. You've got to actually speculate to accumulate, and I'm hopeful. I've got everything crossed. I'm not going to blow me I wasn't saying blow me load there, it sounds wrong, but you know what I mean. I'm not going to blow me top of the situation to do with transfers yet. But if this is the same situation that we've got when the window closes in around, well, under a week's time now, so then simply it's been a shite window. There's no way that you can dress it up. There's no way that you can window dress it any other which way. But it's not been good enough. It's not been acceptable. If you want to come out and talk about Champions League and winning cups and stuff like that, and then we're only signing free transfers and the likes of John Ruddy and so on and so forward, and deals to satisfy PSR, then that isn't going to make the grade. It's not. It's simple. When you're looking around at what other teams are spending, what other teams are doing, how Chelsea are cooking the books. Don't give a shit what anybody says. If you sell a car park to yourself, if you sell a fucking hotel to yourself, you're just cooking the books. I do not care. It's literally stating a fact. If you see some of the other business other clubs are doing, they're doing some great stuff, and they're not just the Aston Villas and the West Hams of the world who, I would look at as competitors for those European spaces. But even some of the so-called lesser lights in the Premier League are signing decent players. And as we proved under the Ashley years when we qualified for Europe, I know that one time a bastard Bandcamp, but when you're signing just like a Vernon Anita situation, if you're standing still in the Premier League, you're going backwards. We all know it, and we all knew at the beginning of the season. As a minimum, we needed a striker, we needed a right midfielder, and we needed extra help at centre back, possibly 2 signings. Now, Lloyd Kelly, I think, is a cracking piece of business. I really do. And I was impressed. I am impressed with what I've seen so far. And when he gets up to full fitness, he's going to be a great player, no doubt about it. It's an improvement. It's an upgrade on Paul Dummett. But it's not a first team, calibre type player. It is just like you're literally banging your head off a brick wall. You're hearing from all these journalists all the time. The deal's moving closer. The deal's edging closer. We're offering this, then we're going up in small increments all the time. Surely to God, when you're speaking to agents and you're speaking to clubs, the price was stated. So if they said the price was 65, 70 million pound, why are we offering and why are we starting at 40 million pound? It's unrealistic. It's not going to work. And this is with a person who was brought in, and Darren Eales paraded him and said he's always a transfer guru, he's a transfer expert, really hyping him up. And then when the proof of the pudding's in the fucking tasting. And so far, Newcastle United fans have not tasted any success with this gentleman at the front of the club, and that is, of course, going to create frustrations. It's going to generate worry, panic amongst the fan base. It's only natural. It is only natural. But I just keep trying to remind myself and just keep thinking, if we sign somebody before the end of the window, 1 or 2 players, it can turn around very, very quickly, and we can go on to have a decent season. Even without the players coming in, I think we can have a good season, because 1 game, 2 games a week maximum. We're not having to juggle in the European competition. Lots of work on the training ground. I think we will get better as the season goes along. There's no doubt about it in my book. And yeah, I think we can push up towards the top, but when you've got the likes of Jacob Murphy and Miggy who are battling out for the right winger spot, look, we're signing no other right winger unless one of those goes. We talked about not only buying, but we have to sell to be able to make space in the squad and to create headroom in the wages constantly. It's a constant battle. So we've got to sell somebody, we've got to send somebody out to be able to open up a space in the squad to bring somebody else in. That hasn't happened, so it's looking very unlikely, I think, that we'll sign anybody on the right wing. I think we're going to go with Miggy this season, and I think we're going to go with Jacob Murphy. I think Jacob Murphy is ahead of Miggy at the moment with regards to who starts the season, who has first opportunity at nailing down the position. He didn't exactly have a lot of time to show his worth in the first game, because obviously he was sacrificed, wasn't he, to be able to change things after Fabian Schär got sent off by fucking Mr. Bastard Magoo. But hey God, I honestly think they're keeping all the powder, they're keeping all the money, they're keeping all the budget for this one signing of a centre back. And if Palace have digged us about for 3 to 4 weeks, they'll be sitting back and saying, look, they're a competitor of ours. If we can dick them over and upset the apple cart and disrupt their season, that can only benefit us by pushing us up in the fucking league. They've already sold Anderson, they've already sold Elise as well, haven't they? So they've made plenty of money. I know Palace is one of the clubs that need to be able to sell, to be able to reinvest, and to generate funds and stuff that way. I'm trying to pull up a second. Got an arsehole behind us. Right. But I don't know. You just get the fact, all the TV interviews, radio interviews, he's on every fucking station, isn't he? Parish, the absolute twat bag. Just something about him, I don't particularly like the bloke. But we well being dicked around, you know. He's going to be, as I'm recording this, he's going to be the captain for Palace at home. He's been talking about the new season ahead and spoken very glowingly about the Palace fans, the club, etc, etc, etc. You'd expect him to. He's not really exactly badmouth them, of course, is he? But you've got to think, why would you be saying all these things if there was a transfer that's literally coming up now? You know, it could be a case, and I'm hoping, I've got everything crossed, that it's a case of Palace have agreed to sell him, but they're not. They're playing a free at the back system, I believe. So until they get a replacement in, why? You know what I mean? Why would they let him go out the door? So, you know, they're probably going to want to be signing centre backs in first of all. Get them literally as close to crossing the line as possible. Sell him, then bring in his replacements. Do whatever they want to do to be able to progress their project on. That perhaps is how it's going to go. But we will wait and see. Like I said, if it gets to window closed and we've signed nobody, or we've signed a couple of youngsters or whatever, and a few have headed out on loan, your Haydens and your Frasers of the world, then there's going to be rightfully people asking questions about the project, about what are the expectations, because ultimately you cannot put on Eddie Howe our Champions League. I want you to give Champions League if you're not willing, or you can't, or for whatever reason you won't invest in. You know, you can't hide behind, well, Paul Mitchell, he's only been in a, you know, I don't even know how long, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, whatever it is. It's irrelevant, you know. Yes, director of footballs or whatever you want to give, fancy title you want to give yourself, they need time. They need to be able to plan for years and campaigns ahead and stuff like that. But fuck me, when it comes down to the nuts and bolts of it, you've been talking to Palace now for 3 weeks. We need to get it done. If he's that important to you, then pay the price that you're asking for. And if they do keep moving the goalposts, then you simply say, you know what, enough's enough. Line in the sand. There are other targets out there. We will have scouted other players, and just move on. You know, it's like being some sort of like desperado over some sort of you know, a lass or something like that. Fuck me, if she said no, stop hitting her with fucking chocolates and flowers and you know, all these sorts of things, fucking jewellery and stuff like that. You just draw the line in the sand. There's plenty more fish in the sea, and then you move on. I just honestly don't know, but I personally feel a little bit flat, a little bit deflated. I feel a little bit confused about the future direction, what's ahead for the season ahead. There's lots of good things happening at the club, of course there is. There's, you know, great work down at the stadium, the fan zone, the training ground. We've made more improvements. We've got you know, we've made more appointments. We've been ran on the face of it so much more professionally. But there's a lot of like nervous energy in the fan base. Obviously, we've lost Amanda Staveley from the board. There's been changes there. There was no one from Saudi, I believe, at the last game, the first game of the season. So there was none of that. Used to looking up there, and there being you know, Amanda Staveley and her husband, Mayor Dad Kadosi. There was none of that. And I think just a lot of time when a lot of fans have got a lot of questions. The communication hasn't been fantastic. We've heard little bits over the summer from Darren Eales. But you know, rather, as much as it's great to see him out in the fan zone, and he's, you know, he's having a few drinks, having a good time, leading a sing-song and stuff like that. That's great, but I also want to see you do your actual job, and I also want to see the club, you know, progressing. We were told about this project, and rather than a rocket to the stars, it just feels like the delayed fucking 1348 from platform 3. You know, it's got a little bit of a feeling of that at the moment, but I don't want to be overly criticised because there's so much things that have gone right. You know, qualifying for the Champions League, first cup final in fucking donkey years, some great nights, some great moments, you know, against teams I'd never thought we'd see us play in a long time, your PSGs. Some great memories, some great moments, you know, liberated us from Mike Ashley. So many nice things, but just at the moment it just feels a little bit flat. There's a lack of information, and the only information that is coming out there is edging closer to this deal. We will sign somebody, we just don't know who, and it's like a bit of a vortex. And I just will feel better when it's just the window's shut. We can concentrate on the football. There's none of this other circus. And even like on the yesterday's press conference, Eddie Howe's continuously been asked about Kieran Trippier, and he answered the same question about 5 different ways, and then it got to like the 6th time or something, and he said, I honestly, I can't answer this any other which way. You know, he must have been dying. If I'd been, I'd be like, honestly, don't ask me about it again. I've answered your question. Unless you want me to repeat the fuck in a different language, don't ask me again. You know, Trippier might want to go. There's things that I might want to have asked to Ferrari. You know, it's just beyond belief. And I just think at this time, at this stage in the season, there's no point even discussing a deal for the likes of Trippier to go with his leadership, with his experience, another body in the squad, when there's so many question marks about recruitment and players coming in, you know. So to me, it'd be absolutely and utterly no go, and especially if you're talking about a loaned Everton. Why would we do any favours for the Scouse Mackems? I don't know. Why would we do any favour to any club by loaning somebody out? It makes no sense. If we were getting 15-20 million pound for him, then yes, and you could reinvest that before the transfer window ends, then fair enough. But how long has it taken us just to, you know, do a Mark Gahey deal? And it still hasn't been done. So we've only got a week left, so you know confidence that the deal, any deal for another incoming, could be done in that time. So it's better to have, you know, it's much better to be able to keep and retain a Kieran Trippier for everything that he brings to the table. He's a fantastic right back. He's had some issues. He's had a few off games. He's had a few personal issues, which I would not ever want to go into, but it's clearly had a knock-on effect. But he's a great player. You know, he was in the finals for the European Championships literally a couple of months ago. You know, so I'd never want to knock a Kieran Trippier. I think he's been a fantastic signing. It was the first one who showed the way. It was a brave choice to drop Champions League football, playing in Spain for a huge club, chance to win stuff, to come to a club who literally should have been relegated. You know, with all the metrics, with all the historical data that you've got, where, you know, they're doomed, they're going down and so on and so forward. But he was brave enough to say, you know what, I'm going to back myself. I'm going to back the influence that I can have on the squad. I want to take a risk on the club, you know, doing the right recruitment and staying up. And we did. So I'm never, ever going to knock Kieran Trippier. And quite frankly, from a club's perspective, I would bend over backwards and do whatever that he wanted, whether that was letting him go or not. But from a fan's perspective, I wouldn't let him go, because I'm not confident in the fact that the club could sign somebody to replace Trippier in the squad. I'm not saying sign another right back, because we've got Kraft, we've got Ashby to back up, Livramento obviously. But I honestly don't think that they've got the time to be able to do it. We struggled with just this one job, so let's just leave it well alone, and let's just hope after a couple of more months in the role that it becomes a more efficient and well-oiled machine with Paul Mitchell leading the recruitment side of it, and we don't have these problems in the future. That needs to be how it goes, because lessons must be learnt of this transfer window, because it's it's been pretty shite, if I'm being honest. It's been pretty shite. Lessons about PSR need to be learned. I perhaps sign Chelsea's accountant, because they seem to do an absolutely fantastic job of being able to fucking dance around and skirt around the PSR and the FFP issues and stuff like that. But fuck me, we just need to win tomorrow. We just need to make a signing. We need some positive news on the Gahey situation, or to draw a line. Because I put a post up yesterday and said, look, we were told that if it wasn't done by this weekend, then we would be moving on. So if that's the case, stick to the red lines that you've drawn. I don't give a shit whether Palace are saying, oh, well, we're virtually there, or this, that and the other. If the red lines have been crossed, then it's as simple as this. You just move on to another target, and we'll bring somebody else in. I expect to see lots of other players that will actually leave before the transfer window is done. Possibly Matt Targett, talking about targets and all that sort of thing. Matt Targett's one that's been spoken about a lot. But again, for me, what's the point of sending somebody out on loan, covering part of the wages, earning no money, signing no replacement? Concentrate on getting your Haydens of the world out of the club. Concentrate on getting Ryan Fraser, the little money greedy bastard, out of the club finally. You know, do them deals. Do some deals for some of the youngsters as well. We've got a loan coordinator and a loan coordinator's assistant. But yet we've actually got no players out on loan from Newcastle United at the moment. So what Shola's getting paid for, I do not fucking know. I love Shola. I love the songs. You know, a great professional for Newcastle United over the years. But a loan coordinator with no loans is, yeah, it's pretty pointless, really, isn't it? Pretty pointless. But I hope Newcastle United are not pointless, of course, when we go down to take on Bournemouth down the south coast. Biggest away trip of the season for the 2,000 Newcastle United fans who are lucky enough to go down there. But yeah, get this game done tomorrow. Hopefully some points in the bag. Get back, finish the transfer window off, and then we can have a full dissection about what the exact fuck is going on over this transfer window. Hopefully by then as well we might hear, it's been a long while since anybody from the PIF, the chairman, has spoken and communicated with the fans, so possibly we may hear from him. Darren Ailes, we may hear from him with how things are going. Eddie Howe as well, no doubt, will want to throw his weight behind what has actually happened, what's going on, and give the fans a little bit of clear communication and direction. It is, to me, it's on a cliff edge at the moment how this season could theoretically go. It could be a mid-season one, it could be a difficult campaign, it could be a European campaign quite easily, or if we sign one or two good players, salvage the transfer window, it could go on to be a Champions League. We've got a lot of good players. This is the thing. I was talking about the good well outweighing the negatives so far since the takeover. Look at some of the players that we have signed. The Isaacs of the world, the Brunos of the world. Look at the form that Joe Linton is in. Fucking beast against Southampton. All over the place. Just an amazing player. It would be awful to play against him, I've no doubt about it. Armstrong calling us a bunch of animals. I like that. I like the fact that, we shithoused our way. We got back to shithousing basics last time out against Southampton. And I'm hoping to see a little bit more of that going forward. I've said all last season, I wanted to see us shithouse more, go back to basics, wind up opposition clubs, get under the skin. And I think we saw signs of that last week against Southampton. If we do a little bit more against Bournemouth, I'm all for it. I love a little bit of shithousing. I love the little the little subplots and everything. I like Pope dropping to the floor all the time, taking the piss a little bit, time wasting where he needed the time, feeling I've got a little bit of cramp here, referee, a little bit of cramp. I'm going to need to get some medical treatment on. Just little things like that. I fucking love it. I absolutely love it. So let's hope we see a little bit more of that tomorrow at play. A little bit of the dark arts. Of course, when the likes of Arteta do it, Sky will literally get out the biggest wank sock ever. It's game management. It's so clever. Oh, he's great, isn't he? The fucking literally love to kiss that man's ass. But when we do it, we're the biggest bastards known to man. It's dark arts, it's cheating, it's time wasting. Eddie Howe's shithouse and mags. Fucking hell. 2.0. Love it. Let's see some more of that tomorrow. Let's get the points sorted. I don't expect to see any sort of signings today or tomorrow. But now I've said that, I've probably put some sort of cursing. It'll come literally as soon as I'm trying to sort out this video and uploading this video. It'll come out and I'll be thinking, you need to go back over that video and redo it all again. But no, I don't expect us. If we are to make signings, it'll be sometime next week, and it could be that we have an interesting end to the transfer window. Normally it's a bit of a non-event for Newcastle United supporters. We get our business done, don't we, under previous guises and previous administrations under the PIF and Rubens and so forward. You know, we've always got our business done and done timely, but unfortunately it's not happened this time round. So we'll see how it goes. Like I said, don't want to blow my shit all over the place, lose my fucking temper, and be down and stuff like that too much, because there is time to be able to get everything done. But to me, should have moved on. I honestly reckon we will make a sign. I think we will make one more signing, major signing coming in. It will be a centre back. I agree with what Keith Towney has put out. You don't make sort of statements like that. Pete Graves, Keith Towney and all them saying, look, the will. You don't put out statements like that unless you're confident and then you're hearing the right noises from the club. But I honestly don't think they'll make a right winger signing. I honestly don't. I don't know whether they'll want to change around the front three a little bit and maybe try. Could Gordon play on the right hand side and play Barnes in on the other side, or play Barnes out wide right? I don't know. Are you going to persevere with Mickey? Persevere with anybody else? Jacob Murphy out there, perhaps. I don't know. We'll see how that one goes. But look, ultimately, if somebody comes in with a large bid, they could well be off and things could change very, very quickly. That's always a possibility. But I just doubt it based upon what I've already seen this window. I just don't think we're able to move at speed. Everything is so process driven. It all has to go through, a system. It all has to go through a series of checks, a series of different people, and ultimately signed off in Saudi Arabia before we can get the deals done. And I think we're just moving, and we're moving through the gears far too slowly for my liking. But let me know what you think down below. How do you feel about the transfer window so far? I just feel a little bit deflated. I expected a little bit more. I expected a couple of decent first teamers. Had 3 or 4 top quality players coming through the door. I think we'll be lucky to get one more to add on to Lloyd Kelly, who I think is a decent and good signing. Don't get me wrong. But yeah, let me know what you think down below. What's your score prediction for the Bournemouth match? I think it's going to be a tight one, but I'm going to go for a 2-1 win. Eddie Howe needs to, get us the 3 points down there. It's not the easiest place for us to go. Eddie's not got the best record down there. It must be sentimental for him with all the time that he spent down there. Him and obviously Mad Dog as well. But get the business done. Lift the spirits. Lift the morale a little bit. And then hopefully by the time we've done some work, we've spent a few quid in the transfer market next week, things will be looking a lot happier and rosier at Newcastle United, and we can look towards the more optimistic end of the season, aims and targets, and we can start sitting there thinking about, well, can we win a cup? Can we get European qualification? And look forward to enjoying the return of Sandro Tonali. He'll be like a new signing, won't he? How many times are we going to hear that one between now and then? Against Nottingham Forest. Cannot wait to see him back. I think he's going to have a massive chip on his shoulder. I think he's going to have a lot of people to pay back, to thank for sticking by him. Literally like a fucking caged animal ready to be unleashed against Nottingham Forest, the hardest draw in the cup that we could possibly get. Of course, we get it at Newcastle United. It's just the luck, our luck, all of the bastard time. Who will we get next if we get past Nottingham Forest? Let me know down below as well. We'll be doing some videos. Obviously, we'll do a video after the game tomorrow, and we'll do a little bit of a preview and look forward to the Nottingham Forest game, and then do a review straight after that game as well on Wednesday. Carl's going to be down there at that game. I've just got him the tickets all sent and sorted, and that's all done. I can't make that one. Family commitments, 6-week holidays and all that sort of thing. But yeah, let me know what you think the score's going to be for the Bournemouth game, for the Nottingham Forest game, your feelings looking towards the return of Sandro Tonali, and going forward, how we're going to fit Tonali, Joe Linton and Bruno. How is that going to work as a three in the middle, especially with the likes of, you've got Willock to be able to throw into the mix. Sean Longstaff, who I thought was decent against Southampton. He gets a lot of stick, does Sean, but I thought he did really, really well. You know, last time out against Southampton, and I fucking loved the tackle that he put on Diaz, where he absolutely and utterly made sure that he knew that he was about, shall we say. Decent. Yeah, I'll leave it there. Subscribe to Magpie 24/7. Also, just check out the Facebook page as well, Twitter page. We've actually put something up there about an under-14s football tournament. So we've got some people who are looking for a little bit of help, some prizes, so that you can check that out and support them. Contact details are in the photo below the post. I'll keep retweeting that out on X or Twitter or whatever you want to call it this week. I'll keep reposting that on Facebook, trying to get them a little bit of help as well. And I think that's it. Yeah, subscribe to Magpie 24/7. I want to get some more stuff done, get back, listen to the rest of the football. And in the meantime, take care, keep it tuned, and I'll speak to you later.